unlike a lot of countries, there are no rules in most parts of Japan. There are exceptions, but in most parts of Japan, there are almost no rules for, there are no HOAs, let's start with that. So there's no homeowners associations that say, oh, you can't make the exterior pink. You can't, it can't be modernist, it can't be whatever. There's no rules for that.
So you can build whatever you want.
You have this huge freedom to build whatever you want. And this is what I'm saying, the dichotomy of Japanese society where so many things, they say the nail, what is it called? Like the nail that's sticking out gets hammered down, So that's the kind of society that people think, rightly so, that Japan is, except when it comes to housing, right? But most people will still kind of abide to that, even though there are no rules to it. But then every once in a while you get the eccentric guy, the doctor or whatever, that decides, hey, I'm going to build something crazy.
So what you're saying that is, if you compare the zoning system in Japan to, for example, the United States, in the United States, the government can decide this area will only be for housing, for families, and not for like high-rise buildings.
But not even high-rise. I'm talking even like low-rise. It doesn't matter. Like, at least in California, in the US, and I'm sure it is the same in most of Europe as well, there's single-family residence-only parts. And then there will be parts that are, okay, you can put multifamily as well. You can put apartment building, even if it's a low-rise, right? But in Japan, there is no difference whatsoever. So that's why you'll see house, apartments, house, apartment, house.
Or
right next to each
sometimes
other.
just like a lot of tall buildings, and in the middle you'll have a tiny house that's still standing from decades ago.
Yeah, that's somebody who really didn't want to sell. You find that every once in a while, yeah.
And I read online, I don't know if this is true, maybe you know more, that in Japan actually there are a lot of very young architects that come out of school and that are interested in, to build their portfolio, kind of create very original standout properties, and that you can get a unique house designed by one of those young architects for much less than you would have a custom house in Europe or in the US.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the building, like the cost of building over here is so much cheaper than most major cities, right? I mean, per square foot, right? I'm guessing that's what people would think mostly. And if you want to get like the highest end, it would be probably about $600 to $650 per square foot, right?
Okay.
So that is considered, in LA at least, that would be considered low high end. But over here, that is the highest high end that you can go, basically. If you go anything above that, then you're just importing some crazy marble from Italy or something like that. So it's not a matter of what the build quality will be like. It will just be, okay, do you want gold-plated toilets or do you want platinum-plated toilets? At that point. But I mean, you can build something so cool over here for peanuts. Like just talking about doctors before, my dentist. Right, I've been to his house a couple of times. He's Japanese, but he he has this crazy house. It's all concrete, looks like an Ando property kind of, and in the living room, he has this huge glass wall, like a corner glass like this, and inside it is his car. Right, and it's on the second floor, so he has a car elevator in his house. So he has
a car elevator that brings the car into the living room with a glass wall, so he can sit, watch TV, and look at his car.
Exactly.
I assume he has a nice car too.
Yeah, he has two very nice cars. He has what was that thing? It's a vintage Aston Martin from the 1960s or something. Yeah,
collector.
A huge collector of cars and watches and all that kind of stuff. Great guy. Shout out to Alex, by the way. He goes by Alex. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You can do these kind of crazy things in Japan for not that much money. It's just that Japanese people don't want to spend the money.